Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the new Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows in the shade of Money and Wine, which have just been released, as well as ranking all my Fenty products. So I picked up the shade Money because I'm interested in green this year, and I was especially interested in comparing it with my more affordable green palettes, such as the e.l.f. palette, which was $3, and the pistachio palette, which is like $18. And I also picked up their green mascara as well. So real quick, if I were to swatch the e.l.f. one next to the Fenty one, I find that the Fenty one is just not as pigmented, at least compared to the e.l.f. I feel like with the e.l.f. you don't get as much shade range as you do with the Fenty, but unfortunately the Fenty does not seem to be performing at all as great as I thought it would for a $25 palette. So I'm kind of disappointed at that. I'm just gonna show you guys one more time. You see how patchy and not pigmented this is. Now bear in mind my arm is not primed, but it's still just not as great compared. Look at the e.l.f. It just blows that one out of the park. Well, a little bit more for a $3 palette compared to a $25, and I feel like it's very disappointing. Now on the other hand, if you spent less than $25 and went with the BH Cosmetics one, which I believe is $18, you still get a lot more shade range, you get a ton more product, and you also get a nice payoff. The only thing you don't get in that BH Cosmetics pistachio palette is like a gold or a gold transition color and a black, but everything else is pretty much more versatile, much more creamier, and you do get a nice shade range of greens to work with. So again, I don't have affiliates with anyone or any company, just my own review, and I think that the pistachio palette is way more worth it if you're going to go and spend $18. Even the Natasha Denona palette, the mini gold, for $25 is so much more worth it than spending $25 on the Fenty Snap Shadow. Now as far as their mascara, it is like a dark green color, and it rarely shows up on black lashes unless you have light blonde lashes. I find that the Colourpop mint green shows a lot better because it's a lot more thicker and you get more coverage, but I don't hate the mascara. I think their mascara is okay. Alright, now I want to rank all of my Fenty Beauty products from like number 10 to number 1, and let you guys know what my favorite Fenty products are so far, what they've released. So this one's funny, it's got a number 10 on it, the Snap Shadow, and I'm actually going to give it a number 10 ranking because it's probably the worst Fenty product that I've ever owned. As far as their lip set collection, I believe this came out like either last year or 2 years. I think this vault set was like $149, but I found that it was actually worth it for me. It wasn't my favorite product. It had every shade that I liked. It had a really nice pumpkin orange color in there, and it was some very rare shades. I didn't get a lot of use out of it, which is why it's not my number 1 product, but I find that the application is a little difficult and it can be drying, but I really do enjoy it every now and then for a pop of color, and it does have some unique shades in there. So I actually find that I liked it better than the Sun and Longwear lip paint because they be smelly, and yeah, I didn't like the Sun as much. Now moving on to one of my favorite products from them, which is I believe now on sale at the Sephora website. This is the Avalanche All Over Metallic Powder Set, and I can't believe it's $25 right now on the Sephora website. I think I picked it up when it was like almost $100, but even back then I thought it was so worth it, and now it looks like it's even more worth it with $25. Now some people say, okay, for $100 it's not worth it because you get very little product, but I still think that this is just a really nice formula, and it blends so well, especially if you have some nice mixing liquid. I think it's amazing, and I think it's one of the best powders that I've worked with. Another product that I dislike a lot is their Kilowatt palette for $25. I think it's on sale for $23 now. It keeps going lower. The problem problem with this palette was the glitters were like so chunky and the formula was so rough to the touch. I just didn't get any use out of it, and I have to probably gift it at some point. Another product that I don't really use as much is their little contour sticks and blush sticks. I've wrapped them together so I don't lose them, but I don't really use them as much. The next on my list would probably be the mascara and the gloss bomb. I know a lot of people love the gloss bomb. For me, it was like a little too sticky and gloopy, and definitely I would say the worst product was probably the Snap Shadow. So if I had to rank them, the Snap Shadow is still the worst, but I do like the matte lipstick formula, and so I'd place that at number 2. So at number 10, I have the Snap Shadow. At number 9, I have the Kilowatt palette. At number 8, I have the Kilowatt Duo. The order I'd probably put them in is the blue one first, then the purple one, and then I like the pink one the most because I feel like I get more use out of the purple one than the pink one. And then the bronzer. The bronzer would definitely probably be somewhere in that ranking system before the highlighter duos, so I would probably put it ahead of them as far as from worst to best. So I still keep my number 10 and number 9 where they are, and then put the bronzer or the matchstick contour sticks. So that would probably be somewhere in the middle. And then definitely keeping number 10 where it is, then the 2 Kilowatt palettes as well as the bronze, then the gloss bomb, it wasn't a hit for me, then the duo highlighters, and then the matchstick contour and blush sticks, then the mascara, the colored mascara, then the Mademoiselle lips, and then the Mademoiselle holiday lip collection, and then finally my number 1 Fenty product would be the Avalon loose powder shadow, which in my opinion is the best. Now let's talk about some makeup products that I'm not going to buy or might buy for September. The first one is from Rebel Rouge Labs, and it's called Howling for You, and it's $29.99. The pre-orders are available and open now. I don't know if I'm gravitating towards these Halloween colors. It's definitely very colorful, but Halloween is only like a few days, or like it used to be one day in October, and now with the situation this year, I don't know if people are going to be really going out as much or feeling brave enough to have parties and Halloween parties, and I just feel like it would be a waste to get this palette just for like a day that's wasted this year. And if you're gonna buy it this year for next year, I still feel like it would be expired by that time next year, so I'm probably not going to pick that one up. Next is the Lauren Conrad Beauty Collection. I don't recommend this at all unless you're a Lauren Conrad fan or super fan. I feel like this would have made more sense if it came out like 10 years ago or 8 years ago or even like 4 years ago, but with so many companies these days competing with neutral colors and like an everyday look, you have so many choices from Colourpop all the way to luxury brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona. I don't know if this is going to be very competitive in the current industry, and you know, it doesn't make sense to me unless you are a Lauren Conrad fan, and then in that case I guess it makes sense, but I'm not, and I don't really, I mean, I don't hate her, but I just don't really, I can't really relate to her these days, so I guess for me this one is going to be a no. Next is the Benefit Microblading Eyebrow Pen, and I actually already picked this one up and I was going to do a review for you guys later, but my biggest issue with this is the formula is a little too liquidy and it barely looks like you have anything on. Now if you maybe pick up a darker color and work with it, I guess it does come with a learning curve, but so far for me I've been struggling to have it like show. It is a little bit smeary and I feel like it could be executed better. The liner is a little bit more on the flimsier side and I wish that it was a little bit more crisp, but aside from that, I feel like it does last all day and it does create realistic looking hairs for the most part. It's just that I wish the formula was drier. Next thing I'm not going to buy is the new Colourpop face mark stamps that are retailing for $8. These look very gimmicky to me, and I think that, you know, with the whole situation with 2020 and not being able to go many places, it seems like a wasteful product idea, unless that's something that really makes you happy to like put those face stamps on your face. It's just not for me, and so therefore I'm not going to buy it. The next product is the Kylie Cosmetics lip balm set, which retails for $36. It's already out and available, and it comes in several shades of watermelon, juicy peach, honey, vanilla, mint, Mai Tai, and tropical berry. I don't think I'm going to buy this because it reminds me too much of the Laneige lip glowy balms, which I already reviewed for you guys recently in a recent video, and I compared the different flavors. I wasn't a big fan of the gummy bear flavor, and I would have bought this Kylie collection if I didn't already own all these Laneige collections. So for me, this one is definitely a pass, and I'm not too impressed with Kylie's skin so far. Next product is this indie brand called Sigil Inspired. Apparently the palettes are very pigmented and they do look beautiful, but again, it just doesn't speak to me because I already own too many golds and browns, so no. Next one is the Colourpop Candyland collection. Now this collection has one of many collections that Colourpop has been releasing back to back. It's very colorful and it reminds me of what they just released last week, but the swatches don't really look so good and they just look like they don't really match the pan. The green especially is what I'm drawn to when the pan, but when I look at the swatch from Makeup Just for Fun, it just doesn't appeal to me. And I think, you know, this might be good for someone who's like a teenager or someone who just doesn't really care about getting that color that they see in the pan. But again, this one's going to be a pass for me. Anyway, let me know in your comments below what was your favorite, what are you going to pick up, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.